Lac Sports Network proudly presents the CAA Women's Lacrosse Game of the Week. Today, what a good one we have in our hands, featuring the top 2 teams in the conference and 2 of the top 10 teams in the country, as the 8th-ranked Towson Tigers bring in the number 4 James Madison Dukes. Good afternoon, everybody. We welcome you to Johnny Unitas Stadium. Matt Martucci pleased to be joined by Monica Moore in what is a heavyweight matchup of a pair of CAA Women's Lacrosse Titans. Not only 2 of the best in this league, 2 of the best in the country. And as we alluded to in our pregame conversation, Monica, about 40 minutes ago, this is a matchup that we could see not only just now, but again in about 8 days.
Absolutely. I mean, these are the top 2 favorites, I would say, in the upcoming conference tournament, as has been for the past decade pretty much. These 2 teams have owned the CAA tournament. They have won the past 10 between the 2 of them.
And you look at it, tail of the tape, about as even as you could possibly be. We talked about it again before. Matchup of the top offense in James Madison, the top defense in this league in Towson. The Tigers put up 13 goals, almost 14 a game. James Madison puts up almost 16. Towson gives up 8 goals a game. James Madison gives up about 8.5.
And I think both these teams really excited about this contest. Again, it has become a really good rivalry over the years. And when you talk to these head coaches, they've been really excited about the fact that their programs have kind of risen at the same time. They've kind of done it together. They have so much respect for each other, and it has done great things for the conference and, of course, for women's lacrosse. All these various teams just continuing to get better and better.
Had to wait a little bit for the starting lineups this afternoon. It is, in fact, senior day here at Towson. 7 of their players moving on after this season. As it's a pair of teams that are off to their best starts in school history. For Towson, it's a tie for the best start. For James Madison, it is, in fact, the best 16-game start in the history of the school, and the first time that they have, in fact, won 15 games in a regular season.
And I talked with Sonia LaMonica before the contest about this senior class, and she said that it's really special for her to have this group and for them to have achieved the success that they have, because she says when they were recruiting them, this was a group they really sold on the fact that they could make themselves into national contenders. And so to her to see what this team has achieved, she is just so extremely proud. And a very emotional day out on the field for Towson.
James Madison coming in. He's won the last couple in this series, including the last meeting here at Unitas Stadium, what was 2 years ago. That was 11-9. Talked a little bit about this before, but I think one of the places to zero in on before we even get started here, you look at the top 3-4 scorers, both of these teams, and you know the cast of characters. You're familiar with the likes of Kristen Gaudian and Katie Kerrigan and Haley Warden for Madison, and Natalie Solmonti and Emily Gillingham and Carly Telekamp and Caitlin Montalbano for Towson. But I think this game could potentially come down to that next wave of scoring. How do you get that secondary scoring punch for both of these schools?
Well, I certainly think you're right about that. They're going to have lots of different players stepping up today, giving the defense different looks. And, you know, it's funny that we were talking about that. I was looking at this James Madison roster. They have a player that comes off the bench. She's a senior, Morgan Hart. She has 16 goals, 2 assists on the season. I talked with Shelley Claes-Backham about her, and she said that, you know, she's scoring more than some of the players that start. She's a senior that they asked to come into this role where she's not necessarily starting, but they need her to be that spark off the bench, and she has responded so well. She's done exactly what you want a senior to do, putting team before self, and so she could be a big player today for James Madison to come in off the bench and give them a lift in this contest.
If you did just happen to hear the exhale, it was our broadcast booth, because not everybody is going to wear black today. James Madison just shed their black warm-up tops, so it'll be white jerseys with the purple numbers for the Dukes. Towson in what is considered the home black today with the white numbers. What is obviously a big day decides the top seed in the upcoming CAA tournament, which will be a Friday-Sunday tilt. Elon is already cemented into that second seed. Delaware, by virtue of a win over Drexel last night, has locked up the number 4. So that's where we are right now, coming into what is a beautiful Saturday. Finally starting to feel like spring here in Towson. And couldn't ask for a better way to cap the day after what is a men's-women's doubleheader. If you tuned into the first game, you were treated to what was a 1-goal game. The Towson men squeaking their way into what is the 7th straight CAA appearance. And now the women hoping to lock up a regular season title and become, one of these teams will, the first undefeated team in a regular season since Hofstra back in 2015. So there's a lot at stake today, and we're thrilled to be here down in Towson.
And one of the things, Matt, that I'm really excited about today, I think you're always excited in a women's lacrosse matchup about the draw control battle between teams. But today, on the one hand for Towson, you have Natalie Slomonti. She has been so good all season long, 68 draw controls. She can self-draw, she can pop the ball to a wing player. She's extremely strong out on the field. And then, of course, for James Madison, you have Haley Warden, who is just a standout every which way you put it out on the field. She is dominating in terms of the draw control circle. And so this battle between these two teams, and in the draw control circle in particular, because you have to think with a game like this one, it's going to come down to possession, winning possession, getting the most possessions. And so that is going to be a critical factor today.
Madison has established its goaltender as we get a look at Molly Daugherty, who the last time we ended up seeing the Dukes on our Lac Sports Network air, Daugherty was making her first career start against Drexel, and it ended up being a blowout victory for the Dukes.
She's a great story to be able to come into a program, and they wanted to mix things up a little bit in goal. They gave her an opportunity, and she made the most of it. No surprise to me, very familiar with her and her high school program, St. Stephen's St. Agnes, one of the best in the Virginia area.
And not exactly a clean win, but Towson will come away with it. Emily Gillingham.
So a nice job by the Tigers getting that opening draw. And of course on offense, they're going to have to be really smart, try to pick their shots, and they're going to turn it over.
Goes over to James Madison, as we mentioned, almost 16 goals per game. Coming off of what was a senior day performance where they put up 15, and what was a 5-goal win over Hofstra.
And you're already seeing an aggressive ride by Towson. They're just an extremely aggressive team on defense, and that's one thing that James Madison has been preparing for today. They know what a physical Towson defense this is. They know that they have to be able to get their shots off through checks, through contact, make really good shot selection decisions. So those are some of their big focuses coming into this game, and I love the pressure and the aggressive defense we're seeing early on here by the Tigers.
Coming through and into the zone for James Madison, the leading scorer in the CAA, and Kristen Gaudian. Haley Warden directing traffic. Just a minute into this one and scoreless. 9-5 by way of James Madison a year ago. 11-9 here at United Stadium 2 years prior.
Under 30 here on the shot clock.
And that's a matter when you're facing Towson. How
Absolutely.
do you find it? How do you find an open lane?
Absolutely, and particularly when they run a lot of time off the field while you're trying to, or off the clock when you're trying to clear the ball up the field.
Elena Romsberg will play this from what's 12. Get the nice feed and the dodge down low. Warden. And a shooting space call. And what's an 8-meter coming up for Haley Warden?
And 10 seconds on the shot clock right here. I have to imagine that Warden is going to try to take an opportunity here against Keating, who is, as we talked about, she's one of the best goalkeepers in the country, only a sophomore.
And that time violation on the Dukes, it looks like. Nope.
So it is going to be Towson ball. And just a first great look at that Towson defense to really see what we've been talking about. I thought that was a great opening possession for the Tigers on defense, really disrupting what James Madison was trying to do.
Solmonte backing it out. Gillingham around the horn. Always have to watch out for Carly Tellecamp based on her height. She does such a good job quarterbacking this offense from X. There she does it again, and we get a whistle.
And that was a great pass from behind goal. Being able to feed your teammates, very important in this contest, and Tellecamp doing a nice job with that vision.
From 8, Solmonte, and deflected by Doherty.
Nice low stop by Doherty, and you always want to start out with a good save to open up a contest, which the freshman has done. Much better job here on the clear for James Madison, right in traffic right there.
And Lauren Duval, the one to bring it through and get this offense started. Early on, Towson just the one shot. Look into the middle of that zone and nobody home. Gaudian tried to feed it forward and take it away.
And against this Towson defense, you cannot do that. They are very opportunistic in terms of causing turnovers. They're one of the best defenses in the country.
And that time it was Sammy Chenoweth, who often, I think, with Tiana Walfer and Olivia Conti gets lost in the shuffle a little bit. This one goes wide out of bounds. And will be backed up by the Tigers.
And so far, it's the Tigers offense that has looked stronger in this contest. They've done a nice job trying to feed from X to take advantage of this defense.
Sachs and Tellecamp there. Sachs right now the one from X. Tellecamp's pass goes a little bit wide and recovered by Gillingham. 6 minutes in, it's scoreless in a game that feels like you're going to have to earn every inch with both of these defenses.
And we've talked a lot about her, but Carly Tellecamp really has been the player right now that's directing things on offense for Towson. She's done a nice job feeding from behind goal, looking for her cutters. It's just a matter of time before they are able to connect if she can keep setting up her teammates like she has been so far today.
Part of a pair of balance units. 5 different players with at least 20 goals for Towson. James Madison with what is 4 players with 20 plus. And then if you want to extend that category, it's 7 players with 15 or more for the Dukes.
Strong move by Gaudian.
And trying to get it out to Warden and briefly poked away. But the opportunity right on the doorstep, the up fake and the score. And Madison is on the board first.
And what was so great about that goal for James Madison was the passing. And that's one of the things that you have to do against a defense like Towson is the quick passing, getting everyone involved. And that was a beautiful goal by Kerrigan, who's known for being a feeder on this team for James Madison. She always looks to pass, but that time she was the recipient of 2 beautiful passes from her teammates, and then the shot selection was the other big factor right there for the Dukes to get past Kylie Keating. A beautiful play by James Madison, getting lots of different people involved.
7th of the year for Katie Kerrigan. Give the assist to Elena Romsberg. It's one of those do-everything players. 50-plus points, but also more than 30 ground balls, 40-plus draw controls, and has even caused 18 turnovers herself.
And Katie Kerrigan's a player I've watched her play since she was in high school. She played for James Madison High School, actually, won a couple of state titles. Her team was always in the mix to win state championships, and she was the exact same way in high school. She was so good at setting up her teammates
Loose ball push, by the way, called on Towson. And once again, the Dukes will go to work. This is Kerrigan operating from X, that feeder spot. And draws the foul on Towson.
We've seen a number of fouls, and Towson is not afraid, as we talked about, to play physical. That's something that you have to expect when you're playing the Tigers. They're going to get a lot of fouls. Of course, you do want to be careful. You don't want to give James Madison too many free position opportunities, but that's their game. They like to pressure. They like to disrupt what you're trying to do, be very physical. And so it's just a mentality type of thing when you're playing them.
More than 6 minutes, quick feed, and the jump shot right to the cage.
And even though Gaudian didn't score, I like the idea, as we talked about, shot selection there, because one of the ways to get past Kylie Keating is with the quick shot, so she doesn't have time to read it and adjust. And so I thought it was a smart play by Gaudian.
And now some transition for the Tigers. Get into their set in the zone. Telecamp using that height, such an advantage.
Well, it's certainly critical in terms of feeding. It can be for players in the draw circle that have that height that can do the self draws. So it can be a very important factor in lacrosse.
Foul on Madison's Emma Johnson. And speaking of people who get lost in the shuffle, for Towson, Caitlin Thornton is one of the top scorers on this team with 22 goals herself, but not one of the first 3 or 4 names you think about. And part of maybe that secondary wave of scoring we were talking about.
One, to achieve the type of success that both of these two teams have, you have to have those players who step up in games, because you have your players that are going to be the top at every scouting report that teams are really going to focus in on. So you do have to have that second wave of players that can pick up some of the scoring and can really build momentum in contests like this one.
Free position opportunity for Caitlin Montalbano. On the way, and ends up wide. Madison will retain possession, or excuse me, Madison will get possession. Lauren Duval out of the fray with the ball.
And an excellent play by Duval right there to win possession for James Madison. As we talked about, possession is going to be key. So whether you get it off of a 50-50 ball or off of a draw control, cause turnover, all those little things today are going to be difference makers in this contest.
Yeah, 100% is about doing the little things. And these are two teams, no surprise, that do all those little things well. You look up and down the CAA statistical categories, and it's more or less most of them. I would say about 75 to 80% of those categories, 1 and 2 in every one of them, either James Madison or Towson.
And the call right there is going to go against Tiana Walfer, but she was trying to draw the charge right there. She's just that heads-up defender who's always thinking about how to try to make something happen on defense.
Talked about the physicality. That's already 11 early fouls on Towson.
No surprise there.
Nope. You see the Tigers enough to know. Sometimes it can be a long day with the whistle.
When again with this defense, there is just no weak link on this Towson defense when you look down the roster.
Gaudian, and they throw it away.
And the mental errors can be big in games like this as well. You really can't afford the unforced errors, because you know Towson is going to cause a lot of turnovers on their own, and now some sloppy passing through the middle of the field, but the Tigers will be able to hang on.
And that's the third Madison turnover at the other end, and none of them have been caused. Excuse me, actually 2 of the 3 have been unforced.
And a lot of times when you play a defense like Towson, it gets in your head a bit, and that can cause some of those mental errors as well. You try to do too much with a pass,
On the run, coming out from X. Around it comes to Gillingham, who wants to play it back to Telekamp. Wanted the cutter, right idea with Somonti. And quickly take it away before there's the 12th foul of the game on Towson. Hallie Dunkel ends up taking a shot. Johnson off the quick restart.
Hallie Dunkel is one of my favorite players on this James Madison team because she's not only a great lacrosse player, but in terms of the community involvement, the campus involvement for James Madison, it is extremely impressive. She just was elected the SAC president, and she and her father started this nonprofit when she was 15 years old. She's one of the directors of Compassion in Actions, and just to be that young and to already have such a heart for serving your community and doing things for others, she is just such an impressive young woman.
Yeah, I can remember having a conversation with Shelley Clays-Bockham before the first Madison game we did, and that'll have to wait because they're on the board again.
I believe that was Morgan Hart, who we were talking about, that player coming in off the bench being a huge factor, and as if on cue, she comes up with a big one for the Dukes.
And again, more size, 6'2". We get another look at Hart.
And absolutely taking advantage of that size as she goes over top of Keating with that shot. And again, you love that team before self mentality, and not just that she's been able to come in off the bench, but to be such a significant contributor. And of course, this her senior season, extremely happy for her. And again, just the leadership and the example that she's setting for the younger players on her squad.
17th of the year for Morgan Hart. Secondary scoring. That's what we talked about.
And you're exactly right. In contests like this, you have those players step up, because again, it's also just a momentum lift off the bench, motivating everybody out there to want to up their level of play.
And back to the draw control circle, Somonti, Haley Warden. Day that I don't know that could be better weather-wise.
It's absolutely perfect weather for lacrosse finally after the season that we've had, and then to have a game like this on the slate as well. You really couldn't ask for much more, and a great draw win right here, picking it up off the wing.
And that's Romesburg, who actually took a tumble. Another one on the cage, another goal. This time Hannah Haven.
And it looked like Keating might have gotten a little piece of that one, but she had a lot of power behind it. We're going to get another look here as Haven working through the defender. An excellent goal. And James Madison now 3 in a row. Towson is going to have to try to find an answer to stop the bleeding. It's all going to start with this draw control, because right now the Duke's doing a nice job after a slow start on offense.
It's now 2 in the last 19 seconds. Haven is the 3rd leading scorer on this team, 34th of the year, and her 52nd point. An impressive feat for sure. 3 different players, Gaudy and Romesburg and Haven, all with 50 plus in terms of points this year.
And of course, only one of them is one of the 3 goal scorers today, which just shows you a little bit of that balance for James Madison. And to have the success that they've had this season, I mean, to come out of the gate and to beat North Carolina in overtime, that 15-14 win, that tells you the type of offensive unit that they have, and their defense as well, really setting the tone for their season. And you go back to the draw control circle, you win this possession. They are making a statement right here.
Yeah, already another one for Haley Warden, but this time more unforced errors.
And it really has been the only chink in the armor so far for James Madison. These turnovers, something that they would like to clean up, and They're not looking past games, of course, but as you're thinking about your postseason hopes, that's something that you absolutely can't afford to do if you want to progress far into the postseason.
Fourth one of the day for the visiting Dukes. See if Towson can finally capitalize. Maybe not. Thornton lost it out of bounds, but got it deflected.
And that's Duvall again. She has been very strong on the defensive end in this contest.
And I think that's sometimes what you forget about with James Madison, because their offense is so potent. Their D can play too. They're just not always some of the ones you hear about.
Well, to have the success that they have had, you certainly know they have to have a strong defense. And then, of course, their goalkeeper that we've talked about, who just stepped into her role, Molly Doherty, really stepping up.
And speaking of stepping up, bounce shot and a score for Telecamp. Towson is on the board for the first time.
And as we talked about, it's only a matter of time before Telecamp made something happen on the offensive end, because she has been working so hard. And again, it was shot selection for Telecamp on this goal. You're going to see right here going for the bounce shot. You can't do it much better than that. Perfectly executed by Telecamp. And the answer that Towson needed with James Madison on that 3-0 run.
41st of the year for Carly Telecamp.
She's the reigning CAA Player of the Week. More than 100 goals in her career. One of the things that Sonia LaMonica told me before this contest is what a great finisher Carly Telecamp is, and you saw it on that opportunity right there. She can be very deceptive. She's dangerous from behind cage, as we've seen. And she can score on her own.
Towson program that 2 years ago under Sonia LaMonica also started what was 14-2. That was their most recent CAA title. And the 7th one for the program.
And Gillingham doing a nice job right here for Towson, but that was a sloppy pass.
Play it back behind off the turn. Wanted to set up Gabby Cha. Instead, Gillingham goes back. This time, Sachs and Telecamp.
Towson's getting some nice cuts and some good movement. And so far today, you see they've been trying to go for the high percentage shots, trying to get the feeds from behind goal.
Gillingham on the run. Montalbano plays it back behind. Telecamp trying to do some 1v1 work. Montalbano with a nice fake and draws the contact. So you want to have the ball, especially in this situation. Montalbano with the run, got it deflected.
And another nice stand right there by this James Madison defense, even though we have a Dukes player down on the field.
Is that Romsberg? And it looks like it is.
And if that is Romsberg, that is very tough for James Madison. Hopefully it's not serious.
And that's who it is. It is, in fact, Elena Romsberg. One more look, and doesn't
it's
look
hard
like
to tell
it's a result of contact.
The replay.
No, it is contact. got fallen into. It obviously was inadvertent.
She's still down on the field right now. It's the training staff for James Madison evaluating her. Now we'll get back up to her feet. And nice to see her coming off the field under her own power. Looks like she will be okay.
Elena Romsberg, the do-everything player.
Again, very happy to see her walking off the field. She is really a special player when you look at the numbers that she's put up. She's also the CAA Institutional Scholar Athlete of the Year, by the way. Just a 3.87 GPA, not too shabby by Elena Romsberg.
And gonna have a chance, if she so desires, to play at the next level. It's already been drafted by one of the professional leagues.
And that's where the pressure by this ride for Towson really pays off. They do it so well. One of the things that you have to be prepared for coming into a game against the Tigers.
Montalbano brings it through toward the attack zone. Thornton and Gillingham all out there, as is Chaley Love. Plays the role of one of those fourth or fifth attackers for the Tigers. Shooting space call on the Dukes. And Gabby Cha will get a look.
And she has been huge for Towson lately. 3 goals in their last contest against Johns Hopkins.
On the run, wide right for Cha, who was 6 of 9 on free position opportunities prior to that one.
That is Lauren Duvall again for James Madison. We spent so much time talking about the defenders for Towson, but I think Lauren Duvall is having a fantastic contest. She's doing a lot of the little things out on the field for the Dukes.
And part of the reason that Towson's only been able to get on the board once. Telekamp at the 18-21 mark. Kerrigan, Hart, and Haven so far the goals for James Madison.
And it's been a defensive game so far. When you have these two teams, we talked about the numbers that they consistently put up. And we're halfway through this first half. We've only had 1 goal by the Tigers, 3 by James Madison. And so it has been a very defensive-focused contest to start out.
Warden circling. Tough little face dodge. They get it right to the front. Shot wide, backed up by Morgan Hart. That was Maddie McDaniel. Again, part of the depth of this attack unit. Daniel with 16 goals herself. Halfway point of the first half. Matt Martucci, Monica Moore, and our fine Lac Sports Network crew.
And another turnover right there for James Madison. Again, it really has been one of the storylines for them in this contest. The Towson defense is so opportunistic. If you bobble a pass, they are going to be right there to scoop it up.
Yeah, 6 different turnovers for James Madison, and only 2 of them have been caused.
But of course the issue for Towson, when you have a statistic like that by your opponent, you have to go down the field and be able to capitalize and make your opponent pay for their mistakes. And so far Towson has not been able to do that.
And something to remember about James Madison, this isn't just the old Duke zone of the past. They've switched things up a little bit. And talking to Shelley Clays-Bockham, that was one of their weaknesses when they would get to tournament play. That folks would figure out how to solve that zone, so they've mixed in some different things. Montalbano setting up Gillingham. Wanted the face dodge. And going down to the ground, Chaley Love.
"20 seconds on the shot clock here for Towson.
Love and Telecamp. Shut off on the face dodge, but another shooting space call. But what'll be a tough angle for Carly Telecamp.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. She has 13 seconds on the shot clock. It is a tough angle.
She'll take it and loses that battle. It deflects away, but they get it back, and Montalbano with the finish. Off the feed from Thornton.
And again, it was well-executed pass that sets up that play. And again, to get past these goalkeepers, we're going to need a lot of assisted goals today, and a beautiful finish right there. The pass perfectly executed. Montalbano getting in the scoring column. Love the unselfishness to set that up. Caitlin Thornton doing such a nice job, great vision, and again, her placement of that pass, very well done.
Back-to-back goals, Telecamp and Montalbano. And here comes Towson, 30th of the year, 42nd point for Caitlin Montalbano. And that's an example of one of the times where Towson does actually answer off of one of those Madison mistakes. This time, different matchup at the draw circle. Maddie Tribby, who they'll rotate in there sometimes.
I'm gonna get a redraw here.
Tribby, a power drawer who likes to pull over her shoulder toward the offensive end. And there you see it. It just doesn't end up going her way. And quickly out of bounds. And is that Romsberg back out there? It is.
And a nice idea there by James Madison, trying to take advantage of an unsettled situation. Or off the draw control win.
Kerrigan, this time feeding down low in traffic.
You see just how strong this Towson defense is. The double team comes, they stand their ground, they don't commit the foul, they just stop James Madison from being able to execute on the inside.
The restart from 12 meters, inside 13 minutes to go. Romsberg, extra pass, Gaudian. Romsberg in the middle of the zone, contact but taken away. And transition for the Tigers, here they come. Montalbano setting up Telecamp.
She does such a nice job winning these opportunities to get 3 position chances at goal.
One goal and a pair of shots today for Telecamp. On the free position, challenges Darty. Darty wins that battle.
She has been very solid on the afternoon so far for James Madison.
Telecamp now 10 of 18 on free positions. Shot right to the front of the cage for the Dukes. And quickly taken back.
What I love so much about Darty, we've seen it so far in this contest, she does a great job eliminating angles for players to try to get shots, just the way that she sets up and her placement and goal.
Shelby Stack out there for Towson. Syracuse area product. West Hill High School, comes from a good program in Central New York. Thornton off the turn, shoots low, backed up by Telecamp. One instance where maybe Carly Telecamp's size is a detriment. It doesn't happen very often.
Well, I think that's probably right. But that being said, she has been very strong on the afternoon so far. But this has just been a game of defense. We have seen these two defenses shine. We've seen what Towson does with their physicality, and this James Madison defense, led by their goalkeeper. I could not be more impressed with Molly Doherty right now. Two-time CAA Defensive Player of the Week on this season so far, and season not over yet.
And this is our only game today in the CAA. Want to wish the William and Mary women's lacrosse team get well soon. Their game today with Elon had to be canceled because of an outbreak of the mumps. And for a second, I actually had to do a double take in reading about that. But that's nothing to play around with. And obviously wish the tribe and everybody associated with Hillary Fratsky's program speedy recovery.
Absolutely. You rarely see games canceled for medical reasons like that, but you certainly wish them all the best. And for Elon, they will continue their season in the CAA tournament, even though they won't get to play today.
Yeah, Josh Hexter and his kids a little bit of extra time to prepare.
And we talked about that before the game, Matt. That's really a double-edged sword, because on the one hand, you don't risk injury in a contest and your players get a little more rest, but on the other hand, just that playing mentality, you want to be razor sharp going into tournament play, and so having to take a weekend off at this juncture may not be what you want to do.
We had Elon's contest against Towson. Phoenix have been decimated by injuries, especially one of their top scorers in Nicole Sinakori. They are that third seed. Loser of this game will be cemented into the second, and obviously the winner, the top seed.
And that's crazy to me when you think about this, that one of these two teams, they're going to be the number 2 seed in the tournament. And that's a tough one for the number 3 seed to have to, that's like playing a number 1 seed.
And so much mutual respect between the coaches that are in this league, especially this matchup. Shelly Clays-Bonkum, Sonia LaMonica, when you talk to one about the other, there are always plenty of bouquets thrown around, and it's not it's not just coach speak, they mean it.
Well, and it's an interesting situation too for James Madison, because if they lose today, they won't be the number 1 seed in the tournament. They actually won't be in their own locker room next weekend, because they'll be the number 2 seed, even though the contest will be at James Madison.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Looking forward, though, to a few days in Harrisonburg.
And some phenomenal lacrosse.
Yep.
You couldn't ask for better lacrosse in a conference tournament.
Montalbano sneaking through a crack in that James Madison defense. And will be the recipient of what's another great 8-meter.
She and Telecamp have done a nice job today trying to initiate the offense, trying to create opportunities, getting these 8-meter shots.
0 for 1 on the day, 10 for 18 on the year. Montalbano makes it 11 for 19.
And again, that was great shot selection. They have seen what Doherty can do back in goal, and so that was a very smart decision by Caitlin Montalbano.
Number 31 of the year for Montalbano. Her 11th free-position goal.
We're going to get another look here again. Just a great decision in terms of her shot placement. It is extremely hard to beat Molly Doherty, and Montalbano getting it done on that free position opportunity. And free position goals can be huge in any game, but particularly in a game like this one for James Madison. On the one end, you know that this Towson defense, they're very aggressive, so if you can get those free position opportunities and capitalize, that's really huge for you. And then for Towson, on the other end of the field, trying to get good open looks has been a bit difficult today. So off that free position opportunity, Montalbano able to bury it.
First 11 minutes controlled by James Madison. Last 8 or so over to the Tigers. Telecamp with 13:29 and then 10:53 to tie this one up. Tigers have more or less stormed the castle wall here after trailing 3-0.
Well, lacrosse is a game of runs, and you have to withstand your opponent's runs and keep your mind in the contest, and that's what Towson does. You wouldn't expect anything less from a team like the Tigers. You look at their record, that 14-2 record, those losses to Loyola in triple overtime. I just saw the Greyhounds play. They are an exceptional team. And then, of course, to #1 Stony Brook, that other loss for Towson.
Jen Adams and Sonia LaMonica, former college teammates themselves, overlapped by a couple years. And Warden gets the charging call. Warden with, I guess in the men's game it would be a ward, if you will.
Really the correct call there. You can see it on that replay that the defender was set. That was Walfer. And Walfer was trying to draw that charge earlier, and that's just something that she does so well. She reads those situations where she can step in and try to draw the charge for her team.
Now Towson trying to take its first lead of the day. 3-goal run for the Tigers inside of our final 10 minutes of this opening half. With Monica Moore, Matt Martucci. Glad you could be along with us on a beautiful Saturday afternoon here at United Stadium. Gillingham looking for a cut, wanted Montalbano just too high and take it away.
And an opportunity here for James Madison to try to grab back some of this momentum.
Rebecca Tooker, the one who brought it through, but quickly given right back. Gaudian was falling down.
And that was Walfer once again. She is absolutely everywhere out on the field. She's the emotional leader of this defense.
An excellent setup right to the front for the freshman Thornton, who will get an 8-meter.
And Thornton has been very impressive today as well, trying to initiate offense for the Tigers.
This is an opportunity that hasn't come often for her this year. Only 6 free position attempts for Caitlin Thornton. 31 points coming into today, 22 goals, 9 assists.
And as you talked about, this would be a huge goal for Towson just from the mental standpoint, being able to weather that James Madison storm with those 3 early goals. It looked like James Madison was going to go on a huge scoring run.
4 points in the last 2 games for Thornton. Right in on Darty with the bouncer. Towson leads.
And you love the patience right there by Thornton as she was working her way inside. She didn't force anything. She didn't rush anything. She waited till she got the exact look that she wanted. Again, they have seen what Doherty can do in goal. And again, it was great shot selection. That's what it takes to be a goalkeeper like Doherty, going low. An excellent play by the freshman. So smart.
Just under 9 minutes to play in the first half, and Towson has its first lead of the game.
And 2 points for the freshman Thornton. She had the assist earlier and then just the goal off the free position opportunity. But Telecamp doing a nice job getting things started. Really has been an initiator today. Followed up by that goal by Montalbano.
And one more. This was the free position look, going 5-hole.
And the free position opportunities, we talked about it earlier, they have been huge for Towson. That's back-to-back goals off of free position opportunities for the Tigers.
Now, all in all, they've had 8 of them today. How about this? Madison hasn't had one yet.
And that's really, when you have this aggressive physical defense for Towson, that tells you how smart they're playing on the defensive end. It's not just that they're physical and that they're aggressive and they make those plays. They are so smart and so well coached back on the defensive end. I mean, it is an all-star team when you look at that defensive back line for Towson. Every one of those players, if you put them on another team, they would be the standout defender on that club. And Towson, they have the luxury of having Walfer, Chenoweth. It's just amazing. A lot of attention, but she's really the unsung hero of that defensive unit. She has 26 ground balls and 9 calls turnovers on the season. She's just a workhorse back there. And again, just because of the players around her, Conti, she doesn't get the attention that she deserves, but she really just makes play after play. In the game against Johns Hopkins, she stood out in that contest. She really got it done and stepped it up for the Tigers.
So
what is so exciting about them, again, you have a redshirt freshman, you have a sophomore in goal. I mean, this is the future of these two programs right here. You're going to be hearing these names, seeing these players back in goal for years to come. And when you have that youth, those players back in goal already getting that great experience, I mean, when you think about the level they're going to be playing at as seniors, extremely exciting.
it's almost like the movie The Dark Knight at the end, where the Joker says to Batman, I think you and I are destined to do this for a while. And that's what it's been like these last 10 years for these two programs. Continue to build depth with their underclassmen, and the goalkeepers are a perfect example.
Well, at this point, too, you're just reloading every single year. Players just wanting to come to these two programs. And we were talking a little earlier about the game, before the game, that Kristen Gaudian was a recruited walk-on on this team for James Madison.
Haley Warden taking advantage of an opportunistic carom, found herself open.
And a nice answer right there by James Madison to stop the put together. And that was just a great individual effort to work around her defenders. An extremely difficult shot when you're turning, and well executed. Haley Warden, again, she's one of the best of the best.
30th of the year for Warden. And it takes them all at 27 seconds to get a response. Warden, Philadelphia area. Very highly touted Garnet Valley program. It's had a nice tradition of sending players to the next level. Right back to the draw control circle we go, where it's already a single season record in that category for Haley Warden.
What's so interesting about her, I mean, she's setting records like crazy. Last year she had the single season record in calls turnovers. That's pretty impressive to put together those two statistics for your program.
And I think says a lot about the depth of this league at the draw control circle, in that Haley Warden, in terms of draw controls a game, isn't even the leader in the league. Stephanie Asher has that one from Elon, who's, again, one of the best all-around players. Really good at the draw control circle, really good scorer as well. Towson able to prevail this time. Sammy Chenoweth able to stand her ground. Sachs trying to split the defense. And shooting space call on James Madison.
And again, it's been the free position opportunities as of late for Towson that has generated a lot of offense.
9th one of the game for the Tigers about to come. Down low, Gillingham, and the finish.
And I love the unselfishness by Annie Sachs. She had Gillingham right on the wing, cutting inside. Extremely difficult for a goalkeeper to react in that situation, because you're watching the player with the ball on the free position opportunity, and you see that Doherty just not able to recover and get set where she wanted to be. And this is a close range shot, very high percentage opportunity for Gillingham, and she buries it.
Leading goal scorer, tied with Telekamp in that category, 41 apiece now for both of them. Gillingham, who actually spent a good part of her youth playing the box game in Canada against a lot of boys, actually.
When you can certainly see her background in her game, and that's something that has been very appealing for Sonia LaMonica in terms of having her on this squad. She's a very strong left-handed player. does a great job protecting her stick on those shot opportunities.
You talked about the unselfishness of Sachs. Not like she isn't good in terms of free positions. At a 50% percentage.
But again, this game all comes down to high percentage shots, great shot selection, and that is exactly what Towson did on that last possession.
This is Sachs again, defended by Haley Warden. Somonti shut off. Discipline of the Tigers on this possession. Thornton, who already has 2 points, has to send it back to the top of the zone. Montalbano and Gillingham. And that time, yeah, we're going to get the contact. A little bit too much of it coming from Caroline Zdanowicz, I should say. The junior from Bel Air, Maryland, one of their best defenders.
We've seen a lot of longer possessions out of Towson. They do a nice job working the ball around, again, looking for the opportunity that's going to generate the best shot.
So Monty playing it back behind, and guess who? Telekamp.
Shot clock running down here, almost at 10.
And now at 8. Down low, wanted the cut, they get the turnover.
And you get the sense that they had to speed up their offense a little bit with the shot clock winding down, and that forced the error.
So far, the biggest difference in this game, the turnover category, 5 more for James Madison. That was the 5th of the game for the Tigers. But the difference is 2 of their 5 have been caused, where Madison has turned it over 5 times by their own hand. 5 of their 10 turnovers have been caused.
That was a beautiful pass. So well executed.
Able to capitalize on the Towson mistake.
I believe that was McDaniel.
And it is.
And I think Haven on the pass will get another look here. And again, those are the type of goals that you're looking to score today. Beautiful pass to set up a teammate coming into the inside, and well done by McDaniel. Again, another one of those tall players. She can be a great target cutting into the middle of that defense.
Shares the distinction of the 6th leading goal scorer. She and Morgan Hart, 17 apiece. Hart already has 1. And the 2nd one of the game today for James Madison. Kerrigan, Hart, Haven, Warden, and McDaniel now for James Madison. Towson with Telekamp, 2 for Montalbano. Thornton and Sachs. Type of balance that we'd expect for the top 2 teams here in the league.
And that was just great teamwork on that draw control win for Towson. It was Tribby in the circle, but then
Janowicz just got her pocket picked by Zdanowicz. Warden in this JMU offense down to the final 5 minutes of the first half. Had 9 shots, 7 of them on goal. They've turned it over 10 times.
Extremely well balanced. 5 different goal scorers have scored these goals for James Madison.
Circle it around to Gaudian from 12 meters. Romsberg still looking to get involved. They got the pass they wanted right to the front. That was Morgan Hart who lost it, but able to get it back.
They're going to reset the shot clock right here. So a fresh 90, they don't need it. McDaniel has been huge.
Yeah, 2nd straight for Maddie McDaniel.
And sometimes those can be some of the most difficult shots. The 2nd shot opportunity And McDaniel doing a nice job there. She had a good angle to score this goal. You're going to get another look from a different angle to see the shot placement by McDaniel. She has really heated up in the past few minutes. She is another one of the sophomores on this team. So a lot of youth, this young talent for James Madison.
Overall, what is our third lead change?
And certainly what we expected when you have these two teams, this rivalry, and a game that has the implications that this one does. You win the regular season, you get the #1 seed in the tournament. So this is a big contest for these two teams. We certainly expected for it to be back and forth, to have lots of different lead changes. Again, it's going to come down to the little things. You have to expect that James Madison's going to be talking a lot about those turnovers at halftime.
Chenoweth again comes out of the fray. Six apiece on draw controls this afternoon.
And Towson has looked very good on the last two draw control opportunities.
Around the top of the zone to the bottom, Telekamp back there with Thornton. Caitlin Thornton on the move, bounce shot, and her second of the day.
She has been outstanding. That is 3 points on the afternoon for Thornton, and this is just a great individual effort created by some quickness. You see Telekamp with the pass right there. She switches, and then to get that shot off at that angle, this is something you practice a lot in order to perfect that execution. Again, perfect shot placement by Thornton. That is almost an impossible one to stop because, again, the shot placement that she was able to put together there, a beautiful goal for Caitlin Thornton.
Fourth now tie of the day. Efficiency personified, and Caitlin Thornton 2 goals on 3 shots this afternoon. She and Montalbano, multi-goal game honors, along with McDaniel for James Madison. Never felt like there's been much of a lull on either side in this game. James Madison had that early 3-goal lead. But Towson, ever since the 18-minute mark when Telekamp got on the board, has made this more of a 50-50 game.
And even when one team has had the momentum or the other team has had the momentum, you've never felt like the other team really was letting down in terms of their defensive pressure or being able to try to put together some good plays on offense. It's really, I think both teams have done a great job just maintaining that level of intensity that they've wanted to throughout this contest. And again, they realize how important this game is, all the implications that are on the line.
Romsberg to Hart. Gaudian trying to angle her way in and sends it to the feeder, Kerrigan, who does just that. McDaniel with a hat trick.
And again, we talked about it. To get past Kylie Keating, it takes plays like this. You have Kerrigan behind the goal. She does this so well in terms of feeding her teammates. That was a difficult shot. She was pretty well defended on that play, but McDaniel just powers it through the defense. And again, that's something that James Madison has talked a lot about this week, is being able to withstand the contact and to be able to finish and follow through on your shots. And that's exactly what McDaniel did on that play.
Maddie McDaniel working on a potential career game. Set a career high last season in a matchup against Maryland with 4 goals. With how much she's been open, how much they found her, I like her chances today.
Absolutely, and again, she's a player that we were, may not have thought would be the player that would stand out and have the 3 goals in this first half, but she has really stepped it up for the Dukes. They've done a nice job finding her as well. A beautiful pass from Katie Kerrigan, who's just such a great story when you hear Bacham talk about her because she's broken some of her coaches' records, and that's something that she's so excited about, because when you have one of your own players be able to achieve that, and she was a player that loved to feed her teammates and get them the ball, so she takes a lot of pride in what Katie Kerrigan's doing out on the field.
Romsberg, who's at times the spark plug of this offense, able to grab that draw control. Madison now the edge in that category, 8-6 on the day. The Dukes circling cutters. And over the shoulder right there for Hart. Are you kidding me?
Unbelievable. That was a beautiful goal by Hart. And you said it, Matt, really what generated that play. They were getting such great movement on offense. This was a great feed. Haven doing a nice job finding her, and then a beautiful job finishing by Morgan Hart. And the placement on that one, you see, if it had just been an inch higher, it may have gone over goal. Well done by Morgan Hart. And James Madison, you feel like perhaps they have grabbed the momentum right here.
Apparently Morgan Hart working on her hook shot. That was pretty impressive.
Extremely beautiful goal by Hart. We talked a little bit about her earlier, that she's this player that comes in off the bench and gives them a huge spark, what you need out of your senior leaders out on the squad, and she has been impressive today. She's a captain, as you see Haven once again. So that was the McDaniel goal. As you see a package here of some of these goals that Maddie McDaniel has been able to put together in this contest. She has been so huge in terms of giving James Madison a lift, and that was the last one by Hart. McDaniel and Hart both having an outstanding first half for the Dukes.
Down to what is 2:42 left in the first half. Now this is our last day of regular season coverage. And a reminder that LAC Sports Network is your home for CAA lacrosse. That includes both the men's and women's tournaments. Men's tournament getting underway with the semifinals on Thursday, concludes with the championship game on Saturday at the University of Massachusetts. Women's tournament May 4th and 6th down at JMU in all 6 games right here only on LAC Sports Network. 4 o'clock and 6:30 our start times for those 2 women's semifinals, and then 1 o'clock on Sunday.
It's extremely interesting because it'd be very hard to beat this if Towson wins for James Madison. If James Madison wins for Towson, it'd be very difficult to beat the team twice in 2 weeks. You've just seen them. Even though you already know what they do, you know the scouting report. That's a tough thing to do, just the way that the schedules ended up this year.
I don't know, Monica, if you even want to be the undefeated team, because the last time that happened, when Hofstra was undefeated in the regular season, they didn't win the tournament.
Fair enough.
So who knows, that bullseye maybe gets even bigger. Not maybe, it does. JMU extending its lead thanks to Hart.
A really important draw control right here for Towson, because you want to try to get a little bit of this momentum back before you go into the halftime break. You do not want for James Madison to win possession again, to march down the field and get another goal like they've done on the past few possessions. These assisted goals that they have been able to put together, again, that's how you beat Kylie Keating, and they've done a nice job on the past few possessions.
This time Maddie Tribby up against Haley Warden.
And they have switched Tribby in on very big draw control opportunities, just to switch things up, to give Warden a different look.
Jump ball.
It looks like Conti might have had it on the circle, but then James Madison comes up with it.
Warden playing it over to Haven, who's gotten involved on the scoring today.
And if the Dukes can score here, they stretch it back out to their largest lead of the day, which has been 3. And again, that's a lot of momentum if they can carry that into halftime.
Gaudian across, Haven lost it. Hart, who's already had a big day today with a pair of goals.
You see all the movement in the inside. They're trying to get those cutters.
Warden got the roll dodge and then got it from behind to Kerrigan. We get the contact and a charge. Yep, that's going on McDaniel.
And that is something that Towson has done so well today, is to draw these charges. They stand their ground. They're very smart defenders.
Inside at 2 minutes. They've had a bunch of ties, 4 of them, since the last one was 6-6, a pair of goals.
And again, we've seen a lot of long offensive possessions by Towson.
Telekamp at Gillingham. Montalbano has been the leader so far, one of them for Towson today, along with Caitlin Thornton.
Thornton really has been a standout among standouts today for the Tigers, really stepping up in a big game situation.
Telekamp once again looking to feed. Not sure if Gillingham was actually ready for that. Inside of a minute, can Towson cut this to a 1-goal game? Back to Gillingham, final 40 seconds. On the run and challenging Doherty, who wins the battle.
Wow, that was a great shot, and even better stop by Doherty.
That almost looked like a game of 3-card Monty. She held the ball there and then, oh, hey, I got it.
It was difficult to tell for a moment if it had gone in or if Doherty had made the save.
Down to the final 5 seconds. And it doesn't look like Towson will get a shot off. Tigers will end the half in possession, but down by what is 2. An entertaining opening 30 minutes here from Towson. And it's James Madison, the 4th-ranked team in the country.
You heard Shelly Claes-Bockham talking about the fact that her team, between the 20-minute mark and the 10-minute mark, they had some letdowns there. She thought they played a little outside of themselves in that 10-minute set. They recovered very well in the final 10 minutes of that first half.
60% of the draw controls going to the Dukes in the first half. Haley Warden ended up responsible in part for a lot of them, although Romesburg with what was the actual 5.
Gaudian trying to make something happen there. Nice check by the defense to knock the ball loose.
And Madison will start it with a fresh opportunity with Warden. Hannah Haven.
She was another player in the first half that did a nice job both scoring and distributing the ball.
This is Haven again, trying to use the help from Gaudian. Had to thread the needle there, and McDaniel with a quick bailout just had to muster some sort of shot attempt. And off the restart, they go low, and there's Kerrigan.
And what a day for Kerrigan. Again, she's known for being the feeder, and they tell her, don't pass so much. Look for your own shot. She came into this contest only 6 goals on the year. She has 2 on the afternoon. And again, all about the shot selection for James Madison. The low shot, the angle, the placement for Kerrigan. She's had an outstanding day for the Dukes.
Yeah, picked a pretty important day for her to have a pair of goals. She's never had more than a hat trick.
Points on the afternoon so far for James Madison.
Dukes are back to their largest lead since it was 3-0 at the 19:29 mark of the first half. McDaniel, then Hart, then Kerrigan to give them this lead.
And it feels like a big lead in a contest like this. Normally in lacrosse, 3 goals isn't that big of a lead, but in a contest like this one, we didn't expect that we were going to have massive leads in this game. So that's a pretty sizable lead for James Madison in this game.
Well, especially because of how hard Towson's had to work for their 6 goals.
But a huge draw control win right here for the Tigers.
And they get it right off to the side, and a score for Solmonti, her first of the day.
And it couldn't have come at a better time for Solmonti, who has had an exceptional season so far. Again, she's just such a strong player. So Solmonti with the answer for Towson. And that's how you'll score a lot of goals against these goalkeepers in a bit of an unsettled situation, and Solmonti taking advantage.
Team high 53rd point of the year on her 33rd goal.
That was actually Conti on the assist because she won the draw control and pushed the ball up the field, so she was still in the offensive third to feed that ball. That will be her 2nd assist on the season.
2 goals in the first 67 seconds of this second half. Give us more of that. We'll take that all day long.
Absolutely, because that is the exact opposite of what happened in the first half of this contest, where we had a couple of turnovers to start out the game, and it was a pretty low-scoring affair until both of these 2 teams' offenses picked up a little bit in the later stages of that first period.
Romsburg briefly with free rein. Kerrigan plays it back behind. Gaudian out to Haven. Check that. That was actually McDaniel. This is Gaudian right now. Warden one-on-one. Flips it to Haven, roll dodge, and couldn't get free for the shot. Had to go over to Romsburg.
And the cutter once again, that was Gaudian doing a great job moving into open space for James Madison to win this free position opportunity. This is going to be the first of the afternoon, and it's Kristen Gaudian, who you perhaps don't want to be taking a free position opportunity. She set the single season record for free position goals for James Madison at 19.
19 of 28, make it 19, 20 of 29 for Kristen Gaudian.
She is just extremely efficient on those free position opportunities.
And back to a 3-goal lead.
And again, she's just such a great story, just for all those younger players out there, players that are looking to make their commitments, that she was a recruited walk-on to this player, so she didn't have any type of aid coming in the door. And she impressed so much during camp, was a standout among standouts that they said, we've got to get her some aid, and because she is just being a standout player for us, and that is what she has done throughout her career. You have to really admire the work ethic of a player like Gaudian.
CAA leading 55th goal of the year.
And she is 6th nationally in terms of free goal percentage, 69.2% on those free position goals. That is exceptional efficiency.
Nice draw control for Towson and Abby Wilkinson. Telecamp directing traffic. Solmonti trying to find an angle, off the roll, got free, and will have a free position coming. Oh, no.
They're going to call it a charge.
They called the charge.
And that's a big call right there, because Towson trying to get back a little bit of the momentum as we take a look at the call that's going to go against Towson and Solmonti.
I don't know if I see it there, Monica.
So we'll get one more look at it.
Maybe a little bit, but
I think that's a tough call for the Tigers.
I mean, there's the shoulder initially, but that wasn't what made the full contact. Yeah, that is a tough call.
So instead of getting a free position opportunity, you're going to get the turnover here. So we'll look one more time at this.
I think that's just footing.
So a tough call for Solmonte and the Tigers. They're going to have to look to really apply the pressure on the ride and try to win possession back right here. Well,
it's been 3 different 3-goal leads. All for the Dukes this afternoon. And taking it right through Lauren Duvall, who I know you've been really impressed with.
I was about to say, she really has stood out to me on that defense, and it's all the little things, being that unsung hero out on the team. Because a lot of what she does is not going to show up in the score box at the end of the game, but it has been some critical plays.
Kerrigan, excellent feed for McDaniel. 4th one of the day, and a career high for Maddie McDaniel matched.
And look at Kerrigan. She has such great vision, and she looks to do this every single possession. Look at this pass. And the quick shot by McDaniel. That's just great chemistry between 2 teammates. She barely had the ball in her possession before she got that shot off. Extremely impressed with the way that McDaniel has played today. The sophomore has really stepped up her game, and again, Kerrigan's ability to feed her teammates, and she's been the dual threat in this contest, scoring goals on her own, setting up her teammates. That's 4 points in this game for Katie Kerrigan.
Unprecedented territory now in this game for James Madison, the Duke's first 4-goal lead of the day. Obviously largest of the afternoon. And now 4 goals feels pretty big.
It does feel pretty big, and so another big draw control right here for Towson. They want to stop the tide and get an answer on the offensive end of the field. And so, Matt, that charge call really does become very big for the Tigers as it results in a goal for McDaniel.
Gonna get some contact over on the sideline here. Walford getting caught up with Hannah Haven. Yeah, point to that charge. Earlier on, so just a little bit ago on Solmonte.
Now another opportunity here for James Madison. They have been absolutely rolling on the offensive end. They've been getting really great looks at goal generated by the unselfish play of this offense. They do such a good job working together as a team, setting up their teammates. You almost feel like they're looking to pass as much as they're looking to go to goal.
Romesburg from Warden on the way in and scores. First one of the day. And Madison has opened this one up. It's a 5-goal lead for the Dukes.
You have to wonder if we're going to get a timeout call here for Towson. They just seem a little out of sorts on the defensive end of the field. James Madison is clicking on all cylinders, and it's been such a balanced effort by the Dukes team, and you see why they average 15.93 goals per game. That was a great individual effort, just as I was talking about the ability to pass and to set up goals and work together as a team. You see Warden just take one to goal. She was not going to be denied on that possession for the Dukes, showing you why she's one of the top players in this conference.
Elena Romesburg, never short on energy. You saw 5'2" climbing up the ladder to 5'11" into Katie Tchaikovsky's arms. Abby Wilkinson now taking a turn with Haley Warden at the circle. Pop this one up in the air. Chenoweth credited with the draw control.
And again, that's something that you do when it's a huge draw control. You switch it up, you give a different look, and this time it pays off for Towson. They win the possession, but it's not enough here just to win the possession. They need to get a really good look at goal, a high percentage shot to try to take back some of this momentum, because it's been deflating for Towson to see James Madison rattle off a couple of these goals and to stretch this lead out to 5. This is a huge lead right now for James Madison in this game.
They've had one shot, the Tigers, this entire second half, and it came on the goal from Somanti.
So no surprise here that we're going to see Towson really work the ball around.
That'll be the 8th
tough.
turnover.
That is exactly what you could not afford to do on that possession, is an unforced error to throw the ball away and to give it back to a James Madison team that has been so efficient on offense in this half. When you give them the ball, they have been very smart in terms of the shots that they're taking and the way that they're working together as a team on offense.
And now Warden and James Madison, it feels like they have all day to play with the clock. Obviously have the shot clock, but you can wait and take the best available out there with a 5-goal lead.
Well, absolutely, and at this juncture of the game, you just want to keep playing your game. They have been working together so well on offense. They have been finding the right opportunities. The shot selection has been fantastic, as you see the pressure by Towson trying to force the turnover back behind the goal. And that's what this defense for Towson needs to do right now. They need to raise it to another level. And they're going to give up the free position opportunity right here.
Yeah, Warden razor sharp on that roll dodge. Only 3 for 17 on the year, Haley Warden.
Not a good angle right here for Warden.
And Gaudian, again, more contact. We talked about her percentage before, now 20 of 29, 1 of 1 on the day.
She's been almost automatic with free position opportunities.
Gaudian against Keating. Second chance, this one deflected. Good save for Kylie Keating.
Really an excellent play by the sophomore goalkeeper for Towson. She saw that very well. And one thing you'll notice about Kylie Keating, she just has such great reaction speed for a goalkeeper.
Creates an opportunity for her teammates, though they have to go back with it.
But sometimes that's the momentum play that you need for your goalkeeper to make that big stop on the defensive end of the field. You want to reward your defense for their efforts and go down the field and get a really good opportunity at goal.
Walford bringing it all the way in. Telekamp, it feels like she hasn't been as active since that first goal. They've almost taken her away.
And I think that's one adjustment that they look to make at halftime for James Madison, because Telekamp just has not been a factor in this second half. And she really was the player. They were looking to run the offense through her in the first half.
Somanti getting it down low off the turn, and Gabby Chad denied.
But even though Towson's not going to score on that possession, that was a good offensive look and a high percentage shot, just not able to convert. You see she was going for that upper angle of the goal.
Already played 7 minutes in the second half in what has been dominated by James Madison. 4 second half goals compared to just 1 score for Towson. And more contact over on the sideline.
Yeah, 2 players, just a collision. And we're going to get a yellow card here against James Madison. So their woes with the cards continue. So we're going to get another look here.
I'm not sure where exactly it came, but it goes on Rebecca Tooker.
So man-up situation here for Towson, a good opportunity for the Tigers. They really want to take advantage of this 2-minute penalty.
Solmonti, nice feed down low, Telekamp low and scores.
Just talking about how she had not been as much of a factor in this second half. That was well executed on the man-up for Towson. Good ball movement, Solmonti with the feed to the cutter, and then you see the shot selection by Telekamp. She turns, goes low, and gets the ball past Doherty.
Second of the day, 42nd of the year for Carly Telekamp.
And that is where the penalties can hurt you. The man-up situation there for Towson. They did a nice job working players through the middle. Seeing Carly Telekamp, she has all that height. She's a great target for passers out on the field.
Yeah, that almost felt like a post-up in the middle of the lane in basketball.
Well executed by the Tigers. If they could win possession here, get another goal, it turns the tide once again.
Shelly Claes-Barkham actually switches it up on the draw control. Maddie McDaniel will take this one against Wilkinson. And another win for Towson. Gillingham contact. And it's going to stay with Towson.
So a huge draw control win right here for Gillingham, who was on the circle. I think the James Madison bench wanted a call against Towson there, but it will be Tigers' possession. And again, a huge one for
try and get this back. You'd like to get it back to 3 goals before maybe you get inside of about 20 minutes. Still an eternity, but we said 3, 4, 5 goals. This felt like a lot more.
Well, it certainly still feels like a sizable lead for James Madison with the 4 goals up over Towson. And again, Towson's offense just has not looked as crisp as it looked in the first half.
Gillingham trying to sneak through that double.
And you see just how physical it is out on the field. This is a really hard-fought contest between these two teams. Very aggressive, very physical. And an opportunity here for Towson.
1 goal and a pair of shots today for Gillingham. 15 of 26 on the year when it comes to free position goals. Gillingham against Darty. On the way in and scores.
An excellent free position opportunity there by Gillingham. As we talked about earlier, she comes from the Canadian game, the box lacrosse style. And Gillingham getting it done. You see her working her way inside and then going to that inner angle to get the ball past Doherty. Beautiful shot placement there by Gillingham, and that is what it has taken today against these 2 goalkeepers. And both of these coaches knew this going in, that you really had to value your possessions, that you couldn't just take any old shot against these goalkeepers. You really had to pick the right placement, and Gillingham doing it right there for Towson.
38th goal of the year for Emily Gillingham. Annie Sachs. Got credit with the assist on her first one, that time coming by way of the free position. Haley Warden back in there at the draw control circle. And a violation on Madison and Warden. And this is an opportunity again for Towson.
But you can't afford sloppy passing with as aggressive a defensive play that we've seen out on the field. That was a nice job by Schmidt to try to break things up.
Telekamp and Solmonte. Top of the zone at Cha. 9 minutes gone by here in the second half. Towson, the last 2 goals to make this a 3-goal contest. Telekamp and Gillingham. Can they continue to apply the pressure? Solmonte looking for a cutter.
So again, they're getting some nice movement through the middle. They're trying to set up.
Gillingham, I think, almost wishes that whistle hadn't blown.
The whistle
that
before
gone
the shot. So it is going to be another free position opportunity, though, for Gillingham. She scored off of her last one, but as you said, I'm sure she'd love to just have the goal. But this is a big one right here for Towson. They could cut the lead back down to 2.
Gillingham, nice run, couple of fakes, but lost it. That almost found a way to trickle in. And Telekamp giving Doherty all she can handle. And maybe a word or two from the keeper.
But a nice defensive stand right there for James Madison, because Towson on a run, cutting into this James Madison lead. So another for the Dukes against the impressive ride that Towson has been able to put together this season.
And Telekamp with more contact. This on Emma Johnson. Caroline Sedanowicz setting up James Madison. Hart had the big first half, hadn't heard much from her though since. A big over-the-shoulder goal in the first.
Really the standout goal of the game, the one that you're not going to forget from today's contest.
Romesburg, and the foul coming on Conti.
You just see the stifling nature of this Towson defense. They do not allow a lot of openings, so this is an important free position opportunity for James Madison, because there are just not a lot of gaps in the defense.
Romesburg, who's had a big day outside the draw control circle. He's picked up a bunch of them. 5 in the first half, already with a goal, make it 2.
And she goes low as well for James Madison. And again, being able to capitalize on these free position opportunities. Able to stretch out this lead once again. And I know I've talked a lot about it, but you just see the great decision making of these teams. The shot selection right there results in a goal.
2 for 3 on the afternoon now for the Dukes. Timeout on the field. Towson wants to talk things over. Matt Martucci, Monica Moore. Lac Sports Network, your home for CAA lacrosse, and every Tuesday night at 8:30 Eastern, including this Tuesday, watch CAA Press Pass, an in-depth look at all things CAA lacrosse, including highlights and interviews with the conference's top players and coaches. CAA Press Pass, it's every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, only on Lac Sports Network. Once again, this week's edition of CAA Press Pass serves as a preview of both the men's and women's tournaments.
This game is any indication of what is going to go on in that tournament, you have to be extremely excited about it. The quality of play that we have seen today has just been outstanding. The goals that have been scored, the shot selection, very smart players out on the field.
Some of how Madison's done its scoring in the second half. Career high 4 goals today for Maddie McDaniel. Then Romesburg, the smallest player on the field, finds her way to the net.
She's had a big second half for James Madison, scoring some big goals to try to stop the Towson run that the Tigers were able to put together. That was her last one, and again, a critical one because Towson was able to string together 2 goals.
You wonder as we get deeper into this game, does the 3 or 4 goal deficit feel even deeper than it has? You know, if it feels like it's more like 7 or 8 as we get deeper into this. And I've said it before, but it just feels like Towson has had to work so hard to get its opportunities where Madison's have come a little easier.
Well, it certainly does seem like Towson has had to work extremely hard to get their goal opportunities. And again, every single possession that they have, they run 70 seconds off the shot clock. They really take a lot of time to score these goals. They're very methodical out on the field. That can become a factor as we get later into this contest. And really, it seems like everything out on the field has been hard for these teams. And so to have a 4-goal lead right now for James Madison, I completely agree with you. I do think that it seems like an even bigger lead as we see out on the field that we're going to get a change in goal for Towson.
Yeah, Rachel Florek. Interesting situation for Sonia LaMonica.
So Florek, a redshirt freshman goalkeeper, only 14 saves on the year coming into this contest. So not a ton of action out on the field.
And you've more or less gone with Keating your entire year. It's an interesting spot.
But at the same time, you really want to try to switch some things up to try to find something that's working. I mean, that's what James Madison did when they put Doherty into the goal. They were looking for someone to kind of infuse some life into the defense and to provide that spark, and that's what Doherty did.
And Florek on the year, 7.19 goals against average, has stopped 58% of her shots, but has only faced 24 total, 14 saves on 24 attempts.
And an opportunity here, once again, off of a free position. This is Salmonti.
On the run and gets some contact. There's another one coming.
Yep, we will reset and be right back where we were. As we get another look here at the contact, an easy call for the official.
Sedanowicz with the one applying the contact. Slight change of angle for Salmonti.
A little bit of a more favorable angle.
And capitalizes. Back to a 3-goal game. Second goal of this second half for Salmonti.
And once again, Towson finds the answer. They just will not back down in this contest, which is certainly what you expected. As we get another look here at this free position goal. This time she goes high. Able to score the goal. And again, we've talked about it a lot, but the free position goals in this contest have been a huge factor. You see Keating over on the sideline, so the goalkeeping change for Towson, that is a big storyline right now in this second half as they're going to try Rachel Florek, the redshirt freshman out of Ocean City, Maryland.
And you hate to have that for anybody in this type of situation where you have been a starter all year for Kylie Keating, because you talk about situations like these and Towson wins another draw control. Maybe you feel like you let your teammates down, and that's not the case. Has done a really great job all year. Like maybe Sonia LaMonica trying to breathe some life back in
exactly.
here.
I think that's much more what this is about right here. Is it's not how Keating's playing. It's trying to find something to make a difference, to provide a different spark for the team. And you see that a lot in the draw control circle too. Your draw control specialist isn't necessarily doing anything wrong. You just want to switch something up.
Yeah, you feel like it's not likely a demotion that would carry over into the tournament. It's just
exactly. They're just trying to find
minutes.
something in this contest today to give the James Madison offense a bit of a different look. So we'll see on this possession.
Haven down low. McDaniel almost had a Morgan Hart type of goal there.
And why not if you're McDaniel? She has had quite a day. Looking for her 5th on the afternoon.
Yeah, that would be a new career high for Maddie McDaniel. Conti and Telecamp. Big second half for Solmonti. Set up, Gillingham going low to high.
It did feel like Solmonti was rather quiet in the first half, and she really has upped her level of play.
Off the restart, looked like Gillingham took some contact, and she did indeed. Or maybe not.
As the call will actually go against Towson.
I thought the reason that she lost the ball was the fact that she got hit from behind.
And again, tough for the Tigers because every time they start putting together a little momentum, James Madison has been able to come back with the answer. That has been something that I've been very impressed with in terms of the Dukes' effort today. For Towson, they just can't seem to get past this 3-goal deficit.
Kerrigan's had a nice day, especially from a goal standpoint with a couple. Gaudian and Haven. Couple of face dodges for Hannah Haven. Coming toward the halfway point of this second half. Everything we thought it would be and then some. 4 meets 8, and the top 2 teams in the CAA vying for that top spot. I can't tell you how many times I've seen Haley Warden more or less just move through that defense and then move out. Madison nearly turned it over, but able to hang on.
Able to hang on, but they run some precious seconds off this shot clock as they're under 20.
Down to 12 in contact. Romsberg taking it. Tiana Walfer with a look that says, what did I do?
So not a lot of time here for James Madison. 12 seconds on the shot clock.
Look for Kerrigan. That's where they wanted to try and go. She was jumping up and down before they started that play.
So a strong defensive stop right there by Towson, but then the question is, can they capitalize down on the offensive end? It has been an issue for them today that they've had some nice defensive stops, or they've had a James Madison turnover and they just have not been able to capitalize to close the gap even further.
That's a good job to keep this possession alive. Shelby Stack after Conti had gotten it checked away. Stack again, top of the zone. Maddie Dickman also now out there for Towson wearing number 28. Nice time-consuming possession. Shot clock cut in half now for the Tigers.
And you see they stretch things out on offense, then try to get some movement on the inside.
Back out to 12.
That was a difficult pass, well defended. The foul will go against James Madison, but that, like I said, was a difficult pass. They were looking inside, trying to set up Cha.
Shot clock won't reset though. Free position opportunity coming. Cha on the move. Got it deflected. And we're going to get some contact on the play. A foul on James Madison.
So the right call there. So it will remain Towson possession.
Off the restart, Telekamp going low. Daugherty anticipated, got the save.
And a good decision, just could not convert on the shot. So for James Madison, can they stretch this lead back out on this possession?
It's now 5 saves for Daugherty.
She's had a very solid day today, particularly in the opening part of the first half, just to set the tone back in goal for James Madison.
And remember actually hearing on the walk to the car on Daugherty's first career start, her parents had actually been traveling. I heard one of her teammates talking, and they weren't able to be there for the first one. But I have a feeling they'll probably make the CAA tournament. I have a feeling they're probably in attendance today. Haven trying to go up top. Got that one deflected. Reminder that Florek still in cage. No more Keating.
Not too far of a journey up from Alexandria.
No, not at all. I think if memory served, they were overseas.
Oh,
So
that's a little hard to do.
That was going to be a tough one. Romesburg, Haven, nice feed down low. Hart having trouble corralling, but there's a reason. Free position coming. Not too many of these on the year for Morgan Hart. 1 for 3.
Really the first opportunity here for Florek to make some noise back in goal.
And Hart sending it to Warden. Haven, another shooting space call. And a Haven, just like Haley Warden, not so great in these spots. Only 3 for 16. But this is a more advantageous position, it would seem. Elected to pass out of it.
And I think a good decision there for Haven, even though it looks like James Madison going to turn it over.
What's a big way to get that back for Towson. That time Meg Lynch, who you don't necessarily hear a whole lot about.
Right, she's really the unsung hero of this defense.
As the 4th defender.
But again, Sonia LaMonica could not have had more good things to say about Meg Lynch, and particularly her effort in their last contest, what she was able to do out on the field. And again, to be starting for this defense, you have to be exceptionally good at Towson. So can Towson finally close this gap back down to 2? It has been a big question mark, and they just have not been able to find the answer.
Haven't heard from Montalbano. Nice speed and foul coming. Violation on James Madison.
So this is Thornton, who's been a little quiet after a huge first half for the Tigers.
2 goals on 3 shots. Overall, 3 points on the day for Caitlin Thornton. Make it 2 of 6 coming in. And another one.
And once again, just biding her time, being very patient till she got the look that she wanted. And that is a huge goal right there for Caitlin Thornton, because just mentally, there is a big difference in this particular contest between being down by 3 and being down by 2, because Towson has not been in this position for quite some time, and this was a very nice goal by Caitlin Thornton. She has been exceptional today for the Tigers. And you're going to get a nice look at this angle where you can see the exact shot placement. Very well done.
Timeout for James Madison. Now the 2018 Major League Lacrosse season underway. This weekend it's 4 MLL games for you, and they're all live right here on LSN. It begins today. Boston traveling to Atlanta, with both teams looking to rebound from Week 1 setbacks. And then also today, the Florida Launch with their home opener against Chesapeake. And then tomorrow, the defending champion, the Ohio Machine, begin defense of their title. They host New York, and the Dallas Rattlers playing their first ever home game at Big D. Busy weekend of Major League Lacrosse. Only place to see it, well, you're right here, Lac Sports Network. Matt Martucci, Monica Moore.
And I think right here, this is a good timeout call for James Madison, because Towson, again, they've cut this deficit back down to 2. It has not been at this point for quite some time for the Tigers. I think that was a massive momentum goal right there by Caitlin Thornton. We've seen these runs that Towson can put together, and you have to imagine that they've got another really good run in them before this contest is over. They have plenty of time. They just have to win possession and be very smart on offense in terms of the shots that they're taking.
Well, the good news is no matter who ends up coming out of this one, and whoever ends up winning the CAA title, both of these teams are getting in. Obviously, 2 top 10 teams with very impressive resumes, so there's going to be 1 at large, 1 automatic.
So we get another look here at how Towson was able to close this gap once again. Gillingham, there's Solmonte off the free position opportunity. And then this is Thornton, that last one. Again, you see the shot placement right there by the freshman. She's had an outstanding freshman campaign for the Tigers. And in this game in particular, I mean, this is a big time stage to be playing on, and Caitlin Thornton has risen to the occasion. She is going to be special as her career progresses for the Tigers.
And from the shadows of the backyard of one of the top women's programs out there, Stony Brook, one of the top high school programs, not only in New York, but in the country, in Ward Melville.
Well, it certainly is a good pedigree that she comes from, as you talked about, and several players actually on the roster for Towson from that Ward Melville program.
Big draw control, and there's Romesburg, has been involved all day. And Madison will keep possession. Foul on Towson.
Very scrappy, and her ability today to handle the contact and the physicality of the play out on the field. She has done a very good job for the Dukes.
Said this before, a couple years of doing the Patriot League, reminded me of Morgan Young from Navy, who was similar in stature and same type of player. No fear and always involved in a lot of different ways.
Well, she has certainly been that today, and just also doing a lot of the little things out on the field, which have been very important to her team. And those are the players that you always love, too, that just won't back down, absolutely no fear.
Call on Towson.
And this is the player that you do not want to give the free position opportunity to. So Gaudian versus Floric.
Goal on what's 4 shots today for Kristen Gaudian. Chance to push this back to 3 goals, and does.
And again, she's just almost automatic when you give her those free position opportunities. She had already set the single season goal. She stretched a single season free position goal record. She has stretched that out quite a bit today. So get another look here, just making it look easy. Such a special player.
.10:45 all of a sudden feels like an eternity in this one, because of the show that these two teams have put on. What's the first 50 minutes of a potential 60.
But I think for Towson, 10:45 does not feel like a lot of time. And the reason why is because every time they've put together a run, they've been able to get a little momentum, James Madison has found the answer. And that's really been what has been the deciding factor in this contest, is James Madison has answered every single time, just like that goal that we just saw from Gaudian. And so for Towson, even if they can string together a goal or two, James Madison consistently able to put one in the back of the net.
Wilkinson and Warden, and a win for the Tigers. Momentarily, Wilkinson coming away with it, and contact from Madison.
Wilkinson, another one of the freshmen. This is a great freshman class for Towson. We've been talking a lot about Caitlin Thornton, but Wilkinson has played some good minutes out on the field for the Tigers as well.
And I think has grown into that role, a lot more involved than she was the beginning of this year. Ten minutes left in our second half. Nice feed down low, and a 2-goal game thanks to Gabby Cha.
And as you said, it was just a beautiful feed inside to set up that goal. Nice catch by Cha, and she's able to finish it in the back of the net. We'll get another good look here at the pass and the catch. See, it's Montavano. Cha, the quick turn and shoot motion to score that goal for the Tigers. A much needed goal for Towson, and Cha has the answer.
26th of the year for Gabby Cha. As part of that second wave of scoring. She's the 5th leading goal scorer on the year. Quite the impressive streak, though, that Gabby Cha had put together. In terms of conference play.
And a huge draw control win right there for James Madison. And we talked about it. I mean, every single time that Towson's able to put together a goal to get a little bit of momentum, James Madison will come up with a draw control win. They'll come up with a goal just to stop the momentum.
Plenty of shot clock left.
And right now, the luxury for James Madison to let a little time run off of this clock.
Call on Towson. It won't quite be a free position, just a 12-meter.
Gaudian was happy to try to make it a free position opportunity, but not the call here.
Hart, after getting it from Romesburg, and maybe tried to force it to the middle of that zone, but that's a big play to be able to keep this alive.
To run a little bit more time off this clock and to get a good look at goal. But they do have to be careful with their passing in the middle because Towson closes so quickly. The slides.
Shot clock doesn't reset. Haven coming across the middle. And they get the call that they're looking for. Haven with a chance to really put a stamp on this. Hasn't scored since Madison's third goal of the game. And will add a second.
And that is the storyline right there. That has been how the entire game has progressed. Towson cutting the lead to 2, and then Hannah Haven finding an answer on the other end of the field to stretch this lead back out to 3. And time just keeps running off this clock for Towson.
Second one of the game for Haven. Down to inside 9 minutes in the second half. For Madison, it is what is 5, 6 different players with a multi-goal game today.
And so Kylie Keating back in this game for Towson. Not on the bench for very long. And for James Madison, they are right on the doorstep of their season average right now in terms of goals per game. It's 15.93. They have 15 in this contest. And you see why with the balance and the depth on the offensive unit for James Madison. They just have so many weapons.
All in all, said 6 with multi-goal games. For the Dukes, it's 5 players with at least 2 or more. For Towson this afternoon. Montalbano with 8:25 to play in the second half. Telekamp quarterbacking Somonti. Telekamp once again using that size.
Surveying her options, looking for a cutter, trying to set something up.
That was almost too high for Somonti. Look at this cut and wide on the shot.
Well executed by the Tigers. They just could not convert on the goal.
Towson's starting to run out of time.
I was about to say, you can sense the urgency in the way that they're playing right now.
Whistle coming, it looks like, against Madison. That last Towson shot, that was actually Chili Love, who went wide right. One that the Tigers would like to have back. Again, you point back to that Somonti charging call, maybe that wasn't.
It was certainly a game changer in the sense that James Madison marched right down the field and scored a goal.
And we're going to get right back to where we were here because of the contact from behind. Caitlin Thornton. Free position opportunity again for Towson. But you think about that, and this, you wipe that goal off the board at the other end. This could be a 2-goal game here, and when it was a 2-goal game before, it might have only been 1.
Telekamp doing a nice job there with the interception. I think that was a shot, not a pass.
Another shooting space on the Dukes. One thing is for sure, you don't want to be on a seed line opposite either of these two teams when Selection Sunday comes next week.
Another nice stop there by Doherty.
This one on Gillingham. But chased down to the corner. Telekamp trying to dig it out. Towson will maintain the possession.
They're trying to get some quick ball movement on the left side of the field.
Somonte again wishes that whistle never happened. Yeah, they will. What's a hat trick for Natalie Somonti?
And that's a huge one right there for Somonti. again. Towson will try to close this gap. We're going to get another look here. Solmate doing a nice job working around her defender. That was an extremely difficult goal to score. She's working past a couple of defenders and a lot of contact to get that shot off. You see her immediate reaction when she had heard the whistle.
You better count that.
You see a different angle here, but again, I think what's so impressive is through the contact, she scores the goal. And earlier, our question was, could Towson get the lead down to 2? Now the question is, can they get it down to 1? Because that is an extremely different game. And what James Madison has done every single time is they have found the answer down on the other end of the field.
Biggest draw control to this point. Wilkinson and Warden.
And Wilkinson has done some good work in the draw circle for Towson, switching things up. That one just could not deny Warden.
Fourth draw control of the day by Haley Warden.
And it's just a luxury to have a player like her in the circle.
And having somebody like Romsberg out on the wing. 11 of their 15 draw controls today have come by way of the two of them. Nice curl for Warden and the score.
Big time players step up at big time moments. And again, that's the storyline for Towson, and at some point it just becomes so deflating. Every single time you feel like you're making some headway, James Madison comes back on the other end of the field, and Warden on this entire possession just would not be denied. She wins the possession off the draw control and then is able to score the goal on her offensive end of the field.
Pair of goals for Haley Warden today on just a
has been critical for James Madison. This is why she's
The next announcement coming May 10th for the overall finalists, and then the winner May 31st.
In case you weren't aware of the caliber of players out on the field, that just
and this time it's a Tiger turnover here late. That's their 12th. It's the 6th caused turnover of the game for Madison.
an important clear right here for the Dukes. If they can get the ball into their offensive third, they can run a little time off this clock and get another good look at goal.
Clock continues to run down to our final 5.5 minutes. Hannah Haven, the quarterback of their offense in Kerrigan.
And she has been huge today. Really, the dual threat out on the field. Have been so impressed with the senior.
Haven was defended by Sachs. But speaking of impressed, 4 goals for McDaniel today. But that pass out of reach, and Drexel able to cause the turnover. There she is again, Meg Lynch. So Towson comes away with it thanks to Lynch.
And a huge defensive stop by the Tigers, exactly what they needed to do. But again, we have been seeing them play with some urgency on the offensive end of the field with good reason. Not a lot of time remaining in this contest, down by 3.
Telecamp contact off the setup.
You're going to get a card right here. So we'll get another look here, and you can see with good reason to get the yellow card. Nothing intentional, but in terms of safety, that's a call that the officials are going to make every single time out on the field. So another man-up situation right here for the Tigers.
It's the 3rd one of the day on James Madison. Romesburg took her, and now Emma Johnson. This hasn't been the problem, though, for Towson. It's getting over that 2-goal hurdle.
That's exactly right. But they definitely want to maximize their opportunity here.
So Monte going down in a heap.
And it has been extremely physical, as we've talked about all game long. That has been a massive storyline in this game on both ends of the field. A lot of fouls, and it has been equal. But it's been James Madison that's had all the yellow cards.
So Monte on the way in. Again, just going to change positions.
Exactly. But a good opportunity here for Natalie Solmonti.
This time low through the 5-hole, 2-goal game again.
So Solmonti getting it done off of this free position opportunity. And so it's 4 yellow cards now on James Madison, so they're not going to release the penalty, which is a new rule in women's lacrosse for this season. Even though the goal was scored.
Yeah, so there's maybe that chance to get over it. I'd forgotten the first one of the game was actually a team card.
This is actually the first game all season that I've had where that rule has actually taken effect, where there have been 4 yellow cards.
Wow, that's something, because you have 3:52 on the clock. You have a large portion still where you're going to be man up.
You see how hard the Tigers battling for that draw win, because they realize the implications right here.
Yeah, and Gillingham able to get it. And again, violation foul coming on James Madison. Who would have thought? Towson known to be the more physical defense. Madison's actually had 10 more fouls this afternoon. 45 of them on the Dukes.
Well, recognizing that they were going to have to match that level of intensity out on the field.
Thornton now to the top on the way in, and a shooting space call.
And this is a very favorable hash mark right here.
Montalbano. One goal on 3 opportunities today, as far as the free position concerned for Caitlin Montalbano.
This is the biggest free position opportunity of the afternoon. This could cut this lead down to 1.
And she does. The closest that Towson has been in quite some time.
And the reason for that rule change, again, in women's lacrosse, a lot of the rules about the safety. The players don't wear the helmets, so they're trying to keep the game as safe as possible. And so the idea, if you get those 4 yellow cards, they're trying to penalize you a little further because they're wanting players to not have those dangerous plays out on the field. And it comes back to really hurt James Madison right here because this is 2 man-up goals in a row for Towson.
Towson hasn't been within 1 or closer since they tied the game at the 4:10 mark of the first half.
And this is just an extremely different ball game right here, only down by 1. They have a little bit of the momentum. If they can win the draw control right here, it really changes things for the Tigers. So they're going to put Tribby back in the draw control circle. We've seen that a lot today. You see how hard both of these 2 teams are fighting. This is the biggest possession of the afternoon.
Gillingham comes away with it. Towson with a chance to tie. Telekamp down low. Somonti off the dodge and the contact. Towson on its senior day with a chance to tie this game up and somebody lock up the #1 seed in the upcoming tournament. Four-goal afternoon for Somonti, but Doherty stands tall this time.
And if that had gone in, that would be 3 man-up goals for Towson. That would have been huge. But Doherty with the play for James Madison, and that is a massive save by the keeper.
And the Dukes can potentially kill all of this off as long as they don't turn it over.
And that is exactly what they need to do right here, is run out this penalty. There's 27 seconds left. It seemed like an extremely long penalty because we had all the stoppages of play and the free position opportunities and the goals scored.
Now Romsburg with just a few seconds left to get back to even strength. Gaudian and McDaniel with the presence of mind that they're just going to use the clock.
And why not? They're up by 1 in this close contest. The clock is on their side.
Shot clock though now down inside 30 seconds. Romsburg draws in the double. Warden round the horn. Haven taking a tumble, lost the ball. Towson once again with a chance to tie.
And they need to be extremely smart on this clear. They can't afford any sloppy passes. They have to expect James Madison is going to pressure as much as they possibly can. They need a very smart possession here.
And that's a tough play toward Lynch. And what a break for the Tigers there.
Absolutely.
With the foul call on James Madison. And we're going to get, what is it, timeout on the field.
Really, I think a must call right here in terms of a timeout because you want to make sure you get what you want out of this offensive possession. This is huge for the Tigers.
Something that we haven't pointed out this afternoon, Monica. Turnovers have been a factor for both these teams, but Towson is perfect on its clears this afternoon.
And that's no surprise because they're over 90% on the season. That has been a big part of their game this year, something that they have done extremely well. And in a game like this, very important.
There we get a look at how these last couple minutes ended up going.
So some nice play by the goalkeepers, one getting a stop, the other one making it a very difficult play for their opponent. And it's going to be Towson possession. That was the last play before this timeout call by the Tigers. So 58 seconds on the clock. And you have to imagine they're going to want to get Telecamp involved. They're going to want to try to have a nice high percentage shot.
Towson has outshot James Madison. It's won the draw control circle. It has more free position goals. It's been perfect on clears and has more caused turnovers. The only thing the Tigers don't have, Monica Moore, is the lead.
And it usually doesn't work out that way when you are excelling in all of the statistical categories except for the one that matters when it's all said and done. But it has been a hard-fought battle, and I have to give the Tigers so much credit because there have been several times today when you just thought they're just not going to be able to close this gap, and yet they have done it, and they got helped considerably by the man-up situation. That was huge in this second half to get those 2 man-up goals in a row. So we will see what they have drawn up for this offensive possession.
Our last tie, as far as we could tell, 6 apiece, 4:10 of the first half.
And that seems like ages ago that this score was tied because James Madison stretched it out right before the half. They were up by 2, and it just seemed like Towson could not close the gap.
Monica, this is almost a 3-hour game, and we wouldn't have it any other way. Gillingham ties this one up with 49 seconds to play.
That could not have been better executed by the Tigers. You're going to see this pass, and this is exactly what we expected. It was Solmonti with the pass, but regardless, you have the cutter, the finish, and you see the excitement out on the field because it just seems like what Towson has done. They have closed this gap. We didn't know if they would ever get past the 3-goal deficit hurdle, then the 2-goal deficit hurdle. Credit to the Tigers. Their ability to stay in this game, to keep focused and composed has been so impressive.
And wouldn't you know it, both the goal that cut it down to 1 and the game-tying goal come via their senior class, Montalbano and then Gillingham.
Well, it is senior day. Parents are here in attendance. They had a wonderful ceremony before this contest started, and these seniors for Towson, they want to go out on top. They want to be the CAA regular season champions.
It's always one of those situations where you wonder how emotions will work on senior day, because there are folks in the stands that maybe typically aren't there all the time, and you want to play well for the people that have come to see you. And sometimes that has an opposite effect. Nerves come into play. Hasn't been the case this afternoon.
Well, and sometimes for teams, they feel like it's the last time they'll be playing on their home field. Now, that may not be the case for these teams because both of these teams have potential for having home games in the NCAA tournament, but it's something you think about.
Brief win, and still a win. Chenoweth comes away with it.
A little surprised we didn't get a whistle there.
Down to 35 seconds before we might have some extra lacrosse.
And you have to imagine that Towson is going to let this clock wind down so that they ensure that they get the last shot of this second half.
Telecamp and Solmonte, 15 seconds to go. Around the horn, Montalbano, 8 seconds. And we'll get a shooting space call. Shaw in between the double team.
And that is a big call right there. And a huge free position opportunity coming up here for Gabby Cha. We have talked about how huge she's been for the Tigers.
0 for 2 today. Gabby Cha. 5 seconds on the clock. Towson trying to win in regulation. Cha and fanned on the bounce shot. And we're going to overtime. Wow.
And I think knowing what to expect coming into this contest with these two teams. You look at the statistics, how close they are in terms of every statistical category. No one is surprised right now that this is going to overtime, despite the fact that Towson, as we talked about, they were down by 3. They were down by as much as 5 at one point. But this is worth the price of admission right here. This contest has been phenomenal from start to finish.
Sudden death is the upcoming situation for both of these teams.
So what's going to happen, we'll have a 3-minute period. If anyone scores, it's golden goal, it's over. If no one scores, we will take a quick break, switch sides of the field, and have another overtime period.
16 apiece. We'll get ourselves situated here for the overtime. Be back in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere on LSN.
We built this cleat for the player who works tirelessly, day in and day out. We built it for the player who pushes their body to the limits, all to get that extra step. We built it for the player who wants speed. We built it for her.
Every episode of Lax Fit on LSN, Malcolm Chase of RPM Fitness walks you through exercises and workout plans specifically tailored for you or your lacrosse athlete. Lax Fit shows you how to stay fit before, during, and after lacrosse season. Whether you need to move more efficiently, reduce injury, stay loose during a tournament, or just make your core stronger and leaner, Malcolm invites you to get some reps and learn from the best. Shoot faster, cut quicker, and make your body stronger with Lax Fit. On demand now on LSN. It's all Laxess.
The 2017 MLL season was one for the ages, featuring spectacular plays, historic games, and breathtaking emotional moments. Relive the best from the entire season with the 2017 MLL Honors. From an emotional send-off of the league's longtime commissioner to the awarding of the MVP, the MLL Honors allows you to celebrate, cherish, and relive the 2017 season in all of its glory. The 2017 MLL Honors, on demand on Lax Sports Network. It's all Laxess.
My name is Curtis Dixon. I am an offensive player for the Calgary Roughnecks.
Chilion to the bench. Dixon shoots and scores!
Play attack with the New York Lizards.
What a sweet play by Curtis Dixon.
I was probably the biggest skeptic there was for the warp, and as soon as I found the right one for me, I never had the real period of going back and forth. It's got the hold you need, it's got the depth I need, the pocket placement that I need, and being able to go back and forth from the indoor and the outdoor game with the same stick is a huge advantage for me. As soon as I started using the warp, my game has been as good, if not even better, than it was before I was using it at the start of the season. You don't lead the league in goal scoring for no reason without having a proper stick and having success with that. So I'm absolutely happy with my performance so far, and I know it's only going to go up from here.
CAA Game of the Week, CAA Game of the Year, 16 apiece. 4th-ranked James Madison, number 8 Towson. The winner gets the top seed in the CAA tournament for the semifinals starting Friday. Championship a week from tomorrow. Matt Martucci, Monica Moore, and Towson with the comeback.
What I've been so impressed with in this game has been their resilience, their ability to weather the storm every single time. And it is so deflating, as we talked about, that every single time they would go on a run, James Madison would find the answer. But that last run, unbelievable. And the fact that they had the chance to win it at the end of the second half. They had that free position opportunity by Cha where they could have won the game outright. Instead, we're going to overtime. But credit Towson, because every single time that you thought they might be out of this contest, they were able to put together a run and get right back in it.
We're certainly excited for the overtime. Our production crew that's been here since 6 o'clock this morning, overly excited.
So this is the free position opportunity that ended the second half, and you see Doherty, the goalkeeper for James Madison, will come up with it. But as we talked about, it's sudden death in overtime. So Every draw control is huge. Every possession is huge. You cannot afford any mistakes, from unforced turnovers to defensive breakdowns. And I think both of these coaches, this is exactly the way that they would have wanted this game to turn out, because it's such a hard-fought game. Both of these teams opportunities to shine today, and it just tells you the level of competition in the CAA. This is what you can expect in this conference.
Yeah, you get a breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different players have had multi-goal games for James Madison. For Towson, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 different players, multi-goal games for the Tigers. 6 have scored overall.
And I was thinking to myself, it's really difficult to pick a player of the game in this contest, because it's been really balanced. There has been no one player that has just taken over this contest, but obviously when this one is all said and done, it's going to come down to a game winner.
Yeah, in terms of engineering the comeback, Solmonti, Gillingham, both center stage, Montalbano also there.
And of course for McDaniel, just having a big game.
So what is the 7th overtime game in the history of this series? Towson 5-1 in the previous 6, including what is 3-1 at home.
So it tells you a little bit about the history, and just also about the fact that when these two teams get together, it is always a good one.
Matchup of a pair of teams that combined had won 16 straight coming in. Madison won here last year, 2 years ago, and then won at home a year ago.
And the biggest draw control win of the afternoon for James Madison, it's Haley Warden.
Yeah, that was up against Maddie Tribby to start the extra period. Warden watched by Conti. What a matchup that is.
Big time players step up in big time moments, and that is what Haley Warden just did right there for James Madison.
Again, golden goal. First one to score wins. Haven shut off. McDaniel. Now Romesburg and Morgan Hart. Gaudian flips it to the top.
They're being very patient on this possession, trying to make sure that they get the look that they want against this Towson defense and goalkeeper Kylie Keating.
90-second clock is cut in half. Nearly got the turnover. Romesburg, though, right there. Contact and a charge.
And we have had a number of charge calls in this game, and that's perhaps the biggest one, because it's going to give possession right here to Towson. And the Tigers an opportunity, a very important clear right here for the Tigers.
(17 of 17 today.
They have been so good in terms of working together as a unit to get the ball up the field. They get Keating involved.
And make it another successful clear. Solmonti on the doorstep.
And that was a nice recovery by the defense for James Madison. An unsettled situation. It looked like Towson might take advantage. Solmonti was doing a nice job working in.
6 points on the day, 4 goals, 2 assists. For the junior from Levittown, New York, and Island Trees High School. Gillingham has a hat trick herself, and an errant pass. We've talked about self-inflicted wounds at times, hurting James Madison. This time it's Towson.
That is the one thing you cannot do in overtime. It is a gift for James Madison off the error by Towson. Just trying to do a little bit too much on offense.
Might we have a second one? Down to 30 seconds here in the extra period. This is our first tie since it was 6-6 back in the late first half.
Seems like ages ago.
Haven got the cut. McDaniel and Keating got there with the deflection out of bounds. Wow.
Only 7.5 seconds left in this overtime period before we will have to reset.
Keating got the stick up. One more look. Got the deflection and it hit the top of the pipe.
I think we have to talk for a second about Kylie Keating, because we had that moment earlier in the game where she was taken out for a couple of plays. They put Floric in, then they put Keating back in. The mental composure of Kylie Keating is just sensational. Able to just roll with it no matter what's going on in this contest. She is a special player.
This is once again where the discipline of this Towson defense comes into play. Don't want to end up with the reverse situation that they were in.
That's exactly right. You don't want to give a free position opportunity right here. You want to play very smart.
Katie Kerrigan, and actually they changed the clock. They're still changing the clock. 8.3 now. So
that's
they add
actually
some time.
the reason why for the delay out on the field is the officials getting the clock reset back to 8.3.
Kerrigan, 6 seconds, double teamed. Gaudy in 4 seconds, down low. Keating ends up denying Hart. We're going to a second overtime.
And it's Kylie Keating once again, to get taken out for those couple of plays, to be inserted back in this contest and to make 2 huge saves in the overtime period. She has ice water in her veins. The mental composure of Kylie Keating, she has been huge in this overtime period. What a stop by the sophomore goalkeeper.
What is her 4th save of the game is the biggest one she's probably made in her collegiate career to this point.
And one thing that Sonia LaMonica said to me before this contest, she said that she has made many great saves this year to keep them in tight games. Well, those words resonating right now for Kylie Keating, because those 2 stops by Keating, huge, and her team an opportunity here to get possession and perhaps win this game.
Start of the second overtime. And now Towson will go opposite its bench. Warden and Somonti. This is the way we started. Back in the beginning of the 2 o'clock hour.
Again, it seems like ages ago. We have seen so much good lacrosse. It's hard to believe that this has all been jam-packed into one game.
Haley Warden maybe trying to direct her teammates to where she's going to try and get this ball. So Monty tracks it down, give her the draw control.
She has been so good in this comeback for Towson.
Conti coming through.
She's just one of those players that does everything out on the field. So we're going to get a timeout call.
If you're just joining us somehow, well, number 1, where have you been? Number 2, it was a 4th yellow card late in the second half against the James Madison Dukes that put Towson on the EMO for an extended period of time. Was a non-releasable penalty after a goal and allowed the Tigers to get the momentum to get back into this game. Monica and I had talked about it. They would get as close as 2 goals on several different occasions in that second half, but they couldn't get over that 2-goal hurdle. That was what they needed, tie the game, and here we are in double overtime.
And if you recall earlier in this contest, Sonia LaMonica called a timeout. Her team came out of the huddle. They scored a quick goal. It was an excellent timeout call. We'll see if they're able to do the same thing right now. This is a huge offensive possession coming up here for the Tigers, the biggest one of this contest, again, because it's never felt like it's been their game. It's always been James Madison in control of this contest, even when Towson was able to put together some runs. But right now they have the momentum. Their goalkeeper, Kylie Keating, put together a couple of big stops to end that first overtime period. So can they finally take the lead in this game at the most important moment?
Said before, Towson more or less winning almost every category. More free position opportunities, perfect on clears, less turnovers, more caused turnovers, more shots on goal, and more draw controls.
And their only overtime game this year so far, they did not come out the winner in that contest. That was against Loyola back in March. They lost that one 13-14 over the Greyhounds.
The two programs that have decided the last 10 CAA women's lacrosse titles. You could almost put the mortgage on one of them winning it again.
It certainly seems like that is destined to happen. One of these two teams will get that automatic berth into the NCAA tournament. The other one you expect will get an at-large bid.
Interesting thing that this was at one point a 5-goal game in the second half. If I can remember, it never got further than that though.
5 was the biggest lead that we've had all afternoon so far, but again, it's been James Madison with the leads in this game. Towson has been playing the comeback game throughout the entirety of the second half.
And from what I can tell, last lead was 5-4. That was on an Annie Sachs goal with 8:09. That's for Towson. Gillingham with the contact. And what's the call there?
I actually thought it was a shooting space call.
That's what I thought. Apparently not. Let's see this again.
Yeah, hopefully we can see this again. It had to have been a charge call, and
That's
the
what it
official,
was.
that's what she signaled.
Wow.
And the charge calls in this game have been difference makers.
Where is the contact is what I want to know. Wow.
That's twice in this game for Towson that they've had charges called against them that have been difficult calls.
And now Towson has to rely on what's been its bread and butter. Top defense in the CAA. Can they come up with another stop?
And again, Kylie Keating was up to the challenge in the first overtime period.
Right to the front, and there's the winner.
And it's Gaudian.
Who else? Kristen Gaudian, the CAA's scoring leader.
That was a beautiful goal scored by Gaudian. Again, you hate to see either one of these teams lose in this contest. It was such a hard-fought battle, but that was a beautiful goal put together by this James Madison offense. Well executed to win this contest. What a battle.